Hello, this is Steve Trials. I wrote the World Fairness Agreement. It's just 4 pages describing what we need to do. Check it out. It's on either website. The blog website is thewayoffairness.com. There'll be a link in the description. It's basically, we won't do you wrong if you don't do us wrong. And there's a law against doing someone wrong in any way. And then it's not the government court system, it's fairness meeting. So we talk about what it's about. We don't have attorneys, we all count the same. We're just interested in not allowing anyone to do anyone else wrong. So, that would work a lot better than what we're doing now. Think about it. What we're doing now, look where we're at in the world. We have the possible war crimes coming from ICC, the International, out of The Hague. But they go by the system of law that's similar. World law is problematic. I wasn't planning on getting on that tangent, but so I'll talk more about that on another video. I've talked about it before. It's in the World Fairness Agreement. I talk about it in there, in that document. So, what I was wanting to talk about is why I'm a spiritual atheist instead of not an atheist. There are several categories of thought. Years ago, I read a book by Fox, Christian, panentheism. This is basically the same thing as spiritual atheism, except there's one difference. Some people think there's consciousness in the first place, that material comes from consciousness somehow. It's the consciousness that causes physical world. That makes no sense. Where's the evidence of that? I think it's wishful thinking. I think it's misguided thinking. And I'll tell you why. But first I should explain theism, where God is somebody else, all-powerful, all-knowing, totally separate from the creation that he created. To me, that's absurd. There's so many problems with that. Why did he create evil? Well, is it a he or a she or an it? You know, it's like, how can it have all power when I can disagree with it and do what I want? Why is there Satan, the problem of evil? Why did this God create evil? Why, if he has all power over everything that happens, why are there earthquakes that kill people? Because it's his consciousness that's doing it. See, that's why I say it's absurd. It's an absurd belief. And if you're offended, sorry, but I need to be clear and I need to be honest about what I think and why I think it. Okay, so that's what I think about theism. See, the leading 3 theistic religions are causing all the problems in the world right now. The Abrahamic religions, they're Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And they say they have the same God, but yet they have different books saying God's different in each book. That's absurd. So we're fighting wars over it. What? This is crazy. They're all Zionistic or world conquerors like Islam. They fight you until you submit to Allah. They don't call it a war, but they fight you. They use terrorism to fight you with. So what if they don't call it a war? It's a deadly fight to the death. So Israel wants to kill them. But they wrote their book in response to the Jewish book. Anyway, we can talk more on that on another video too. That's what I think of theism. Problems. Doesn't make sense. Consciousness fundamental to physicality. Doesn't make sense. Same problem. If consciousness is in the first place, wouldn't it have control enough that it would consciously be able to solve the problem of evil? Or wouldn't it be able to control the world such a way that we didn't have problems with religious beliefs and various philosophies and the problem of evil? Wouldn't it be able to get rid of evil if it was conscious in the first place? Unless it doesn't have any control. So that sounded more like what I believe, like there was no consciousness in the first place. Consciousness happened through biological evolution. It did here on Earth. And humans are fairly intelligent. We have a somewhat of an understanding of the laws of physics and cosmology and how we got here. We're working on why is there gravity and quantum gravity. I mean, we're working on some quite sophisticated things. And we can show how we evolved from no consciousness. We don't know how the first replicating life form happened. But it's not that far, it's not that big of a leap to think that replicating chemicals, that somehow they started dividing and creating more of this copies of the same chemical, and then they get, pretty soon there's like other ones attacking them to use their amino acids to create their type, and so you have this competitive dynamic developed. So, it's like they have, I forgot their word for it, the technical word for the earliest formation of replicating life or replicating chemistry. I don't know if you'd call it life. It's like, do we call viruses life? Anyway, enough said on that. We can see how biological evolution can create a species that is suited for the environment it's in, and we can see how they can change quickly. We can see how birds change because the size of the snail changed that took over the place, an intrusive species. And so I forgot the birds, they're like I forgot. Anyway, the ones with bigger beaks, bigger sized heads and bigger beaks, they could eat these bigger snails. So all those kind of birds are becoming the bigger kind. They've evolved within 50 years or something like that. Galapagos Island, where Darwin went. There's these species that changed radically because of the place that they washed up on a mat of vegetation or whatever from the mainland. Okay, so look at our domesticated animals. Like the turkey, it can't even fly on it's not even able to fly. They're incredibly different than wild turkeys in a few hundred years. The dog. Our dogs are from a wolf that's a long time in the past. And so the modern wolf is not the exact wolf that was around back then, but it's really similar. It's like species stay quite similar for a long time sometimes, like sharks. Long time. They stay very similar. But these wolves that started hunting with humans and living nearby, they have changed into like this extreme variety of dogs. Huge dogs, little teeny dogs, all kinds of dogs. And these dogs have an affinity towards humans. The domesticated cats, same kind of thing. We're starting to see a high variety of cats in the last 20 years. Okay, so here's the main reason. If there was no consciousness in the first place, it means that the mind is some kind of physicality. So there's one substance. I'm a big fan of non-dualism. Just one thing exists, and it's all that is. So how did this one thing come into being? It's a lot easier to figure out how one thing happened than a whole bunch of things, complicated things. It always reduces back to one thing. Simple. So this one thing is physical, without consciousness. There's no problem of evil from a creator. All of this problem happened from blind evolution. So the humans that steal their food from other humans, and those humans, their offspring don't do very well because they're too hungry. And the ones that are stealing the food, their kids survive and have more kids. So there's an example of evolution creating evil. It didn't happen from God creating it. It happened from evolution. So that's why I like the idea of spiritual atheism. It's exactly the same thing as what they call divine oneness. But it doesn't have to be divine. It can be demonic. If the forms of life become more and more evil, if evil wins, and so the people that are good don't survive, all their children die, they don't reproduce, so all the populating species are more geared to evil than the demonic. So it's all powerful demonic oneness. Evil wins in that case. So it's a spectrum. Each one of us are on the spectrum of evil depending on how unfair we are to other people. That's what the evil is, in my opinion. So this is like philosophy from someone that's not using the scholarly ideas of philosophy. I don't want to use them. I don't want to chain myself into using their words. If I do, I'm tied to their meaning. It takes it off on that tangent. There are so many philosophers that criticize the other philosophers. Over time, new terminologies incorporated. So it's kind of like a brainwashing to become a scholar. You got to be brainwashed into being scholarly, to say it in simple terms. You have to comply with the system or they'll boot you out. You have to go through their university. It's like the world laws are all similar. They're based on the same philosophy, the same original foundation of law. We don't have to keep it that way. We can go with the World Fairness Agreement idea. Start it over from the ground up, side by side, supporting the established system, working within it. We're a subset of the system that's already here, Team Fairness, Church of Fairness, and we might convince the system to choose our method eventually. I can't see why not. See, if we have a transition day, and this happens rapidly, then the war criminals, Trump, knitting on you, Musk, because he was involved with Trump, now he would have a case where I'm not guilty, would have court cases for 1,000 years, billions and billions of dollars are involved, and people make their living. This is a huge way to make a living. They're not producing any widgets. Right now, we're worried about AI taking over or becoming so powerful that we don't have need for human employees. And they see it as a problem. Like, we need humans to be employed and work 60 hours a week. What? Why? Why can't we not have to work? Maybe we have to work 10 hours a week. That's all we're needed. And we have all this incredible technology, automobiles, airplanes, and the computers build them for us. We need people employed on that know how to work for the computers. These we're worried about. It's going to be us working for them. It will be unless we incorporate fairness into the system from the ground up. No computer can do anything unfair. And they're programmed to do that, to work that way. We don't program them in a dangerous way for warfare. That's what we're worried about right now. And people think God's going to show up because God made the whole thing consciously and they don't have to worry about it. I don't think they're right at all. I think they're up in the night. I think they're dreaming. It's fiction. My opinion is there's no consciousness at first, so anything can happen. It can become demonic oneness or divine oneness. And it's all powerful because it's all that is, fundamentally. There isn't anything that's not within it. So that's like panentheism minus original consciousness. Now, I want to speak on why it seems like there is. Well, divine oneness demonstrates how every atom speaks about this, that every atom is connected. It's all one thing. It's quantum entangled, one thing. We see different forms. It can appear in many forms. All the forms that exist. It appears as every one of the atoms, this original one thing. Okay, one day on some far distant planet, maybe a different universe before the Big Bang, there arose the first conscious mind. And maybe it didn't even know enough to say, I am. Maybe it wasn't even conscious of that yet, but it was conscious. That consciousness is the whole thing, because everything in this one thing is the whole thing. So instantly, the whole thing is conscious. It's like a light turning on. It was dark, and then the light came on. So that's kind of like the story in Genesis. Similar. Okay, so the first conscious group of species that developed this probably simultaneously, because it would have been a group that was having the offspring that had this going on. It probably was a group that realized, I am. Plus the mind-to-mind connection between the individuals in the group, because it's a necessary thing that all minds are connected. This explains telepathy. Who's keeping the gate, the door shut to us communicating? Higher being might be doing that. They might enable us to communicate and enable us so that we're not able to communicate. They keep us separated. Intentionally. We don't know what they're doing. They're way more advanced than us. I've told the dream about them before, where there's a type that got lost, they got trapped. They are controlling humans, controlling Earth to solve their problem. There's a solution. It comes through me. I have to guide them. I was told this in the dream. I think I have no way to guide them 30 years ago when I had the dream. 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was, I wrote the World Fairness Agreement. That's the guidance. I'm going, oh, they knew I was going to write this. They know the future. They give me dreams, and it happens in the future. I refuse to be called a prophet of God because I am not a believer of God. I don't think there is such a thing. Don't call me a prophet. I have prophetic dreams. I'm a spiritual atheist. How can I be in the role of Christ that they imagine? It ain't going to happen. I'm not going to be that. They've told me in the dreams that I'm the Christ because I have the guidance to solve the problem. So I'm like, I have a track record of getting in trouble with the law, you know? And I don't care because their law is at fault. The way I see it, their religious laws are at fault. They're inhuman. I'm trying to be human, and they don't agree with me being human. We're not allowed to be our true self. Look into narcissism, family dynamics, and the scapegoat, and the problem child. You're listening to one. I was the only child that didn't believe in the church. So it's like so simple. Once you see this, you can't unsee it, that because people are doing each other wrong, it's causing all these problems. Every single one of them. Okay, make a law against doing people wrong. That's what we want to do, the law of fairness. It'll solve the whole problem. Humans doing another human's wrong, it's against the law. Nobody goes to prison for it or jail. We just, why do you need to do this? We're helping you. If you need help, just call us up. This isn't fair. I don't have a job or something. We get you the job. And all the people that hire people, our main purpose is to help everybody and care about the whole human race. And we all have a tendency to be, our side's better, we're competitive, our team is better. So naturally we have our tribe is better thing going on. It's happened all worldwide with all the tribes, all the colors of skin have had this thing going on. It's nature's way. Well, nature's way developed atom bombs. We got to change what these species with these large brains do. We have to change that behavior. It's like the people that survive and evolve, we can stay very human-like for ages if we want. At this point, it's like kind of up to us if we change what we look like by selective offspring, selecting what the offspring will be like. We don't have to worry about that for a few hundred years, hopefully, but we're already doing CRISPR. So we have these old DNA strands that go all the way back. And so we have our old stuff with us. Carl Jung calls it our shadow. And it's not accepted. It has to go into hiding, and if it shows up around the family, it's attacked. And so part of our real self had to go underground. And that's tragic, because we can go through the process of bringing the shadow, the part that's not cooperative, say. We all have it, and we learn how to cooperate in spite of it. So we've healed our shadow in that regard. So we can heal our shadow. It can be very offensive. It's like I can be extremely mean. It just comes out of the blue. I'm thinking, whoa, that was extremely mean way of thinking. And I'm thinking, oh, it's my shadow. Don't worry. It's there. If I need it for somebody that's mean, I got it. There's power with the shadow. I can protect myself with this thing. If there's somebody else that's being mean, I got one too. See what I mean? So you integrate it. It's part of who your real self is. And it wasn't allowed. We had to be a phony self, a fake self, playing this role where we're actually some other way. Public self and private self. So, what I've learned is that my main tool for being me is forgiveness, and it was taught in the church. But I threw it out, because I threw the whole church out. And it didn't make sense, because they're telling me I'm forgiving that person. No. I'm forgiving what that person did to me so that I'm free of what happened to me. It's like acceptance. It's like I forgive you to protect myself from you, so that I can go to clear thinking from there. And in order for me to do that, I have to surrender my ego, this shadow part of me that absolutely must surrender to get along with the group. All humans got it. We have to surrender to the group. We all had to surrender to our family as a child. So we go through that process of ego surrender. So we know how to do it. See, this is why they call it Mother and Father in heaven, because we're naturally capable of doing this. So I surrender to the all-powerful, hopefully divine oneness. I surrender to the divine side, not to the demonic side. I'm in a conflict with those who do others wrong. They're demonic. I'm trying not to be demonic on a day-by-day basis. No more demonic for me. I do not want to do anybody wrong ever again. But I will. So it's like, that was my bad. We forgive each other because we're human. It's part of what makes us close, because we struggle with what we really are. So do they. We got to work with what we got, because it's not going to go away. It's what we are. So that, you hear these people from religion say, find out who you are. Like, you're the Son of God and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't agree. I evolved from primordial form of life on planet Earth that might have came from some other asteroid to the Earth. Who knows? So, anyway, I suggest it's not about finding who we are. It's about finding out what we are. We're a form of physicality that has mind. Mind is a form of physicality. So the thoughts that the mind generate are some form of physicality. What's the substance of these thoughts? It might be a new discovery in physical law. It might be a new type of energy that we haven't even begun to look at before. Maybe life made something big that would have not been big if it hadn't been for evolution evolving more mind. There's no reason that I know of why it can't be some form of physicality, some like energy, but we can't find any signal with thoughts. If it was electromagnetic wave, we could detect it. What is it? It's interesting. It is what it is. Why do we have to confine ourselves and say it must be like this? It must be created by God and we have a soul. Why can't it be what it really is? And let's find out what it really is. So it's like everything is one thing. What if all these minds, we have separate minds, at some place they're all one thing? What if they got together on their own and made an incredibly intelligent being and we don't even know about it? Wow. So I'm working with spirits. I can communicate with them. Like a medium. Or I am a medium. So I was thinking like that. What if these spirits that I have, I'm trying to understand what they are. What if they're an aspect of our collective mind? So they don't die when I die. They continue through the collective. So they'll miss this individual because I helped them understand this. They didn't know what they were or where they are. So we're a tool for them to understand what they are. It's not about who they are, it's what they are. And we don't want them to leave, or we don't want to defeat them because we think they're demons. We don't want them to control us. See, they told me they had to control us because they got lost or trapped within us, in our mind. They are our mind. Our mind is them. So that she's like, thanks for helping us figure this out. Now they know. So she's telling me nobody else has understood this before. No human has ever understood this. If I would have listened to what other people told me about dreams and about our mind and about God, if I would have listened to other people, I never would have been able to look into things that led me to this hypothesis. So she's telling me right now they can open up and let us know they're here in a big way instead of hiding from us. Not yet. She's telling me right now, not yet. When I first connected with the spirit being, the one that's really helpful, it's like the guardian angel in Christianity. And then there's the demon on the other side that wants you to surrender to that. Surrender to me and you'll be powerful, Luke. You know. No, I have a different side. She's one of them. So I don't know why don't they She's empowered by something they don't know that protects her, just like me. She's telling me as we're making the video. Okay, she likes the World Fairness Agreement. It helped them. There's other forms of life than just her, too. This is bigger than planet Earth. This agreement, it's not a world agreement, it's a universe agreement. And she's telling me it's before the Big Bang even. They're adopting this line of thought. But it's not going to happen because of Ben. There you go.